Hi, I'm Nate Caddy. You're listening to the Don Pod.
Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
The Young Dons show some more promise, but the Gold Coast run over the top. Essendon 11-8, 74, defeated by the Gold Coast Suns 18-7, 115 at Marvel Stadium on a Saturday. I have had a week off and now I can't speak. How good. Welcome back to the Don Pod. I am joined by Nathan. Hello, good morning.
Hello and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night to whoever's out there listening in the world of podcasting. We're up and about this morning. I think we're relatively.
Well, I didn't watch it. So.
Oh, okay, I watched it. We're relatively positive, but we're also slightly disappointed. We still lose.
I did watch it. It was just a bit on and off, and out with family and trying to watch it at the Melton Racecourse we were actually at, and trying to watch it on the tiny little TV from 300 metres away. You know how it is.
That would have been fun.
Well, I liked what I saw, and I have to say I didn't watch any of the fourth quarter. So there you go. That probably explains why I liked it so much. Some numbers for you. Merritt had 40 touches. Who would have thought? He plays in the midfield. He was 5 tackles and 12 clearances. Sammy Durham comes back into the side with 27, 4 tackles and also 12 clearances. Just quietly, the rest of the team had 11 between them. So Merritt, Durham, 12 clearances. Everyone else at Essendon, 11. Which, when you've got a guy like Caldwell in there, that's quite surprising. Setterfield had 22 with 8 tackles as well. In front of the sticks, May, Caddy with 3. Things you just love to read. 2 big forwards kicking 3 each. May's
I'm liking May, yeah.
That was nice. Wright, Kako, Hobbs, Clark, Caldwell, kick 1 each. It won't surprise you. I'm going to rely pretty heavily on you to sum up the vibe of the game. So, go. The floor is yours.
Well, I'll feel the pressure now. So, just a couple of points. I was sober for this game, which is unusual because it was a stupid time. I want to first of all talk about the time, but
I think it's because it was a double header.
Yeah, but on Friday night they play them like one starts at 7:30, one starts at 8:30. Anyway.
But St Kilda, no. I mean, like St Kilda Hawthorn also played at Marvel Saturday night. So I think they needed the they need
the ground
to clear it.
Yeah, sorry. Gotcha. Anyway, so I found that a bit strange because I had to be sober and then do stuff with my wife after that. Like that was, because it's still only like 3:00 when it finishes. I can't really. Anyway, just some problems there. I'd just like to bring up to the AFL.
God forbid you have to spend time with your family. Yeah,
I feel sorry for her.
Yeah, so do I. The game.
The game. Look, for 3 quarters, we played really good footy. We played a different brand of footy. There was much more attacking, much more aggressive. I want to talk about the contest, like how we, especially probably guys like Durham, and I think he made a few others crack in a bit harder, but he just cracked in for the first half like an absolute champ.
I love him.
Probably the knock on him I had was that his first half was so good that it made his second half look disappointing. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you watch him go like that for the first half, he's cracking in, he's dragging the ball out, but then you don't see it as much for the next half, and you're like, well, come on, we need that still. I don't want that. That seems harsh, but it's kind of.
Look,
what we need.
Four consistent quarters. Yeah, well, it's okay to want that. That's.
But Merritt, you made a comment about Merritt as a midfielder. Yeah, look, we were so much because Gold Coast don't tag, so Merritt was left to do Merritt things, and we're so much better when he's getting the ball, kicking it forward. Like you talked about Parrish not being in the team. The other one I'll mention is Sardis didn't get picked.
Yes,
and I guess the Durham is the Parrish replacement, but. Then Parrish never comes back in. Like, then if that's the way the Essendon Football Club thinking it, then for me, you can't do it. There's a part of me that still loves Durham as a forward, but anyway.
Oh, you can't argue it, can you?
Yeah. Look, let's do a couple of negatives first, because I think I want to just knock them out of the way.
Shall I do the team stats first, and then we'll roll into that?
Yeah.
So minus 26 disposals, minus 9 kicks, minus 17 handballs, and only minus 3 contested, which against Gold Coast, I think with guys like Raul Miller, they're pretty hard-nosed, and Anderson, they're a pretty hard-nosed side, so don't mind that. We were +2 inside 50s, which when you're losing by 40 points is a bit of an
Yeah.
alarm bell.
There wasn't our problem getting an inside 50. We just couldn't
Yeah.
capitalise on it. I think there's a stat
And
down there for their set shots on goal. They kicked something like 10 goals.
yeah, they were accurate.
Yeah,
18-7
and
overall.
everything with every shot they had within 40 metres, they didn't miss. Like, whereas we missed.
Good sides do that.
That's right. Yeah.
+15 hit-outs, -3 clearances, which was +3 at centre, and -6 at stoppage.
Now, the
This
hit
is-
outs is the first one I want to quickly go to because
Can
the
I
rucking
just-
decision.
The inside 50s.
Yeah, all right, sorry.
Quickly. Just want to mention, like, this is the issue we're having towards the end of last year. We had so much more ball inside 50
Yeah.
than our opponent.
Yep.
And we're losing games of football. And Brad Scott said earlier in the year that, hey, we're gonna go in less, but hopefully
More
better
efficiently.
quality.
Yeah.
Better more efficiently.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
It's
really
not
cool.
going badly.
I guess it's funny because Carlton are dealing with the same problem. They're often outscoring people in their inside 50s, but which
And
I
they
think
have
that's
a Rolls Royce
yeah,
in
they
that forward
have a
line.
couple of good forwards when they're up and about. But look, I really thought Kako was just unreal. Like he should get a Rising Star nominee for that game. I would have thought. May only had really the one good quarter, but he was really influential in that for that moment. Like and I want to talk about it. I think it was his second or first goal. I'm not sure. The one he kicked from outside 50. I don't know if you
That's a
saw that.
lovely long
Oh,
strike,
you would have
yeah.
loved that. It was just. I'm like,
I was on my way to the loo and just stopped as he had the set shot. I was like,
Yep.
that's nice.
The commentators were even. Oh, well, he's got a leg on him, hasn't he? Like,
I did also enjoy the shot of Dermy in
Dermy.
the crowd clapping him. Sucked in Dermy.
Demi sitting there, not even cracking a smile. Oh,
He was clapping. He was trying to be respectful.
Was he? Apparently he's a member too, Demi.
Yeah,
He's a
good.
member. So and then so the Vigo should have
Yes,
been
Ruckman.
picked over Goldie. The question about would you pick Langford? There was debate about Langford coming in that team over May.
Well,
It's a really fascinating situation we're going to be in at the end of this year.
lock
I think we
in.
will have unearthed some players.
Yeah, lock in on the ruckman. So this really upset me.
Yeah, it did me too.
I posted on the Facebook page, essentially sacked the coach because it's the first time I've ever felt like that about Brad Scott too. I
feel like it all the time.
I'm okay. Just what message are you sending to Vigo at this point? I mean, I'm sure they'd be talking to him and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm
but
sure they are.
you were going to bring back the 37-year-old Ruckman, who, yeah, all right,
He was good. Goldie played good.
he's
This is
fine.
not a knock on Goldie. This
No
is about the
worries.
future direction of the club. What's the point?
Yes, what are we doing when in 3 to 4 years' time, Goldie's long gone. Goldie's not going to be playing at 40.
Yep.
Vigo's going to be playing. So Wits didn't play. We wouldn't have known that when we named the teams. But just seemed like he played well against Freo. Yeah, Luke Jackson had the better of him, absolutely. But he did all the right things you'd expect of a 20-year-old ruckman in his first game of footy.
Yep. I think when the teams were named and Gold Coast hadn't put Wits up and they'd put the other big fella, what's his name? Moyle. Then I reckon Essendon should have just said, okay, let's take this opportunity as what it's been given to us and we'll swap Goldie, laid out, Goldie Goldie out for Vigo and take that as Goldie. Look, you play next week, mate. We come up against a big ruckman next week in Richmond's.
Nank,
in the Nank. So you'll be back in for that. But it's a great opportunity, and Goldie surely you could have told, like you were just talking about, you talked to them, you could have said, it's just too much of an opportunity for Vigo for him
It's
to miss
one
out
game.
on. Yeah.
You're 37, so another week off won't hurt you.
Yep.
Monteith would get another go in the twos properly.
And it's not about the wins
Not
and
that
losses
he's-
from here on in. It's about the guys like Clark playing up
But it's-
forwards,
it's
the guys
about-
like Johnson playing all this
Yeah.
footy and getting something out of him.
It's about
Luau, we're seeing
2026.
stuff out of them.
2026, 2027. How are we getting from now to a top 4 position to challenge for a flag? How are we doing that? It's not with Goldstein.
And it's exactly right. And we'll go back, way back to when Hill was dropped for was it
Are you
Hill?
thinking Bell Chambers?
Bell Chambers? Sorry,
Yeah, I'll
that's
crack
right.
the sads because he didn't
Yep.
get a farewell game. Yeah.
Bell Chambers was dropped for our boy Draper.
That
And
works.
at the time, I remember you and I chatted about it, saying this is the right thing because he's the future.
Right
You don't just get a last game. Football's a cruel thing sometimes, a cruel mistress. You don't always get your last little dance,
Yeah.
and he didn't. And for the future of the club, we had to play.
If you're a
Draper,
Dusty
you-
Martin and you've
Yeah.
won 3 premierships for your
Yep.
team, yeah.
Yeah.
You can have your farewell game, sure. No worries. When you're Tom Bellchambers,
Mm.
and yeah, okay, you were an okay ruckman for a couple of years and
He was a good ruckman, but not
never won a
doesn't
final, never won a
deserve.
flag for us.
He's
Yeah,
not bigger
jog
than
on,
the
son.
club.
Jog on, mate.
Yeah. So I just think that that's and the third thing I'll get to about coaching and negative sort of stuff is the Perkins and the sub use, because I want to get all the negative out
Sounds
because
like
there's
a
some
shit
really good
TV show.
positives out of this game too.
Perkins in the
Perkins,
sub.
the sub. I hate the sub. I want
We
that.
have
I'm
it.
sure everyone hates the sub, but I
Can
hate
I-
the way we use the sub.
Can I just point out first off the bat that Brad Scott has shown a couple of times that the sub is the last point before getting dropped,
Yeah.
and I was very excited to see Gresham there.
Yes, I thought that too.
On your go, sorry.
But yeah, so Perkins had a shocking game. I think we can all agree with that. Like, he's just. I think the guy. It's funny. He's got talent. I don't think we'll doubt he's got talent.
Look, they're on AFL lists. They all have talent.
Yes, but something's happened with his confidence, and it's gone. And maybe a good stint in the VFL is what is needed. I don't know. Who?
Got you.
Oh, sorry, I had to
That
sneeze.
one came on. That's all right.
My apologies. Oh, there might be another one too. So the problem was that
There it is.
There was another one. Sorry, I'm good now. Two.
You ever want proof we don't cut? That's staying in. Oh, I
Yep,
can't be
okay,
bothered
great.
editing.
So Gresham comes on then in the fourth quarter when I can't remember the exact moment, but I felt like it was after the first couple of goals had been kicked by Gold Coast.
Okay, still.
And that by that moment, Gold Coast, and they've done this in every other quarter, sort of kicked the first one or two, but in this one they just ran away. They kicked the next few more and got away from us. And whereas I was like, what was the point of there? Why wouldn't you have brought him in halfway through the third quarter? And
You've got a guy that can easily come off stinking it up.
yeah, that's right. He's already Perkins wasn't going to do anything in the last 15 minutes of that quarter. Like, what were you expecting from him? I don't know. Whereas Gresham actually could have come on and gave a bit of run and maybe kicked a couple of goals. I don't know.
Well,
But he
Gresham does
came on
start
for
games
18
well.
seconds and kicked nothing.
We had one disposal. Two disposals, sorry. No, one handball.
One
It
handball.
went a metre backwards. So
I mean, what were you expecting? Like, he comes on. What's his time on ground?
18%.
18%. What are you expecting? I don't know what we're expecting. Anyway, there were my negatives. For the positives, it's everything else. It's
Yeah,
all the
I
young
think-
kids.
Good way to do it this week because it should be, well, it really should be 1 quarter a bad, 3 quarters good.
Exactly.
That's how
And
the
that's
game
what, like the game itself. 3 quarters, our pressure was up in the 200s for the whole game. The way we cracked in was unreal. Like, you want to see that every week. You do. You don't care about, the mistakes that the kids make and the players make. You can live with them. You're like, when they kick across and it gets marked, you go, oh, that's horrible. But if they're absolutely cracking in, then 100% I'm going to just say, yep, this is good. Like,
Well-
I love Clark as a forward. He's so much more sort of versatile up there.
Just one thing before you get too much into it, sorry. So Hardwick in the press conference after the game said, and this is more or less verbatim, usually they're a low pressure, low contest side. Today was a high pressure and they were going forward a lot more and they looked like a different side. So we've been hypercritical of this handball, and every single one is to a bloke under a little bit more pressure. From what I saw, I didn't see a lot of that. We might have regressed into that in the last quarter, and that's why they got on top.
I think that, sorry, go.
Again, I was watching it in patches.
Yep.
As you say, the tackling pressure was right up. And it's not even the tackle numbers, it's the chasing and harassing and just, what's that called? Inferred pressure.
Yep,
That they're always having to feel like they're under the pump.
exactly. And that's what we were doing for 3 quarters. And I would put the fourth quarter down to a comment that I heard one of the commentators make, which I thought really summed it up, which was decision-making under fatigue. Like, it just that we faded. Those things faded on us. Our decision making was bad. Like, we were going for kicks that we were missing. We were trying to handball, play on. It was that typical us where we tried to play on a few times when the play on wasn't there. When we went for a handball and it just wasn't there, and it got turned over and went back the other way. And that was just.
I was watching Collingwood Carlton Friday night. Bit of, what's it called? Shouting, frozen, whatever, taking pleasure from other people's pain.
Yep.
And I look, as an Essendon supporter, I don't hate Collingwood as much as I probably should, but I was quite enjoying it. But watching Collingwood play, I think it's important that you watch good teams play
Oh,
and
yes.
try and understand what they're doing and look through the blind hatred that we have for these clubs. It's amazing what experience does in a side and how often they would handball because there was more up the ground, and then they wouldn't handball
Mm.
because they just knew these players had a way better idea of what was going on around them
Yep.
to either pull that handball or not. There
Mm.
was 2 or 3 times I went, why wouldn't you go? And then, because
No one's
Carlton
there.
actually had numbers back. That's
Yep.
why. So, look, part of it's vision, yes,
Yes.
but Collingwood are literally the oldest team ever. So, plenty of experienced heads in there. It frustrates me when we do it because it's like, why? We had the ball. We had the ball in a stop play and we've decided to give it back to them. It's such a waste.
Mm. And we did that much more in the last quarter than we had. We did it in patches in the first 3, but we didn't do it as much until the last quarter. And I think that's fatigue. I think that's experience. And I think that, I think that was kind of expected, throughout the game. There was one other thing in the first and second quarter. Gold Coast kicked goals once in the first quarter with 15 seconds to go from a centre bounce.
Yeah, red time. Yep.
And the second quarter, I think there was maybe 35 or 40 seconds, something like that, to go from a
There's
centre
one
bounce.
after the siren, I'm pretty sure, too.
Yeah, well, I think that was the first quarter one where they, 15 seconds to go, they got down the centre, kicked it forward, and King took a mark, and then he kicked it after the siren. So
That's something I actually noticed, in the first
Yeah,
quarter,
that's right.
particularly in the first half. Every time we kicked a goal, like we took like 15 minutes to kick the first goal of the game.
Yeah.
And then they answered straight away. So many times we would kick a goal and then bang, they'd get one straight back out of the middle.
And what they worked out pretty quickly in that first half, or maybe first 3 quarters or whatever, is that they had us for height down the forward line. Like they just bombed it long to their 3 talls, and one of them was marking. It was either
As
Reed,
you would,
or
like-
Weller, or King. Like they were just dominant down there.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and look, great credit to Blackiston and to Laverde did his typical fucking giving away free kicks because he's undersized, but a bit, it's tinged with like he's just clearly over. He's playing
Okay,
on King,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
200 and something centimeters, whatever. But he still does these things where he just gives, like, you watch him go, oh god, that's such a free kick.
I don't mind that bit so much because, as you say, undersized, and
Mm.
in an ideal world, he's not playing. Rah, rah, rah. It's the getting up and arguing the most obvious free kick you've ever
Oh,
seen.
he
that
turns
really
around
grinds my gears. Through, right? Are you self-aware?
Yep. So this one stat on that was that we are 17th in the competition from goals conceded in red time.
Mhm.
And there was another play where we kicked a goal from a kick-in, like all the way from, which I thought, geez, we never do. Like and the commentator then threw out a quote when I wrote down, he goes, we're 18th in the competition for meters gained from kick-ins. So we are the worst in the competition. And this is one of those things that I find frustrating because that's a coaching thing. Like that's nothing.
But
You
why
can have a
aren't we
strategy of how to
taking
get
that?
the ball out of the back after the forward half, surely.
But we don't take the 15 meters that's given to us.
No, we never do. We kick a
For
little
some
short
reason,
chip.
we do this little chip kick when 90% of teams just run out and then boot it.
Or kick it to a marking or
All
contest.
that, but
yeah.
you're taking the 15 meters that's given to you. Like,
Yeah, put it at 75 minutes before it comes back.
yeah,
not
at least when
at
you turn it
25.
over, you might have a bit of a chance of defending it. Yeah, Christ. Very good. So I'm just looking through our notes.
I don't know if you watched Kako and Caddy.
I noticed Kako a fair bit. I admit
Oh.
I checked Supercoach scores at halftime and he was on like 70. I was like, what the hell? I had a little contact at the game and she's like, yeah, it's been unreal. I'm like, okay, good.
With 17 possessions, which I'm sure close to his
Best. Yeah.
best. Only one goal, but a lot of play up high, high up the, high half forward sort of role. And again, his pressure was there and all that sort of stuff. As for Caddy, he was just doing his Caddy things, marking everything, kicking from outside 50. He had a beautiful bit of swagger after one of the goals. Like he did a sort of a kick to goal, and he sort of stood there and went, yeah, I'm pretty fucking good. Yeah.
So 2 things before we move on too much. One, Mac Andrew had 4 goals kicked on him in the first half. I did quite good at that.
There was a lot of
2,
booing for him.
Good. For Kako, it was his career high disposals, kicks, tackles, and fantasy points.
Oh, nice. I don't know if you saw then the goal that Peter Wright kicked it, bounced
little-
past him. Clean bowled.
What dickhead?
And Peter Wright was like, huh, take it.
Yeah, sorry, just to echo on Cads, I did thoroughly enjoy the swagger. My cousins that I was spending a bit of time with are all mad Essendon,
Mm.
and they're a bit older than me, so they've seen all the
Older
successful
side.
times
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. And he was a bit like, well, I don't like this swagger. I'm like,
Mm.
nah, you gotta have it. You gotta like.
Yeah.
Dusty was arrogant when he was a kid. I'm sure of it. You
Oh,
carry that through, and as long as you're willing to work hard to be good,
yeah.
which we are pretty sure Cads is,
I,
it'll
I
come. It's
I
fine.
have no problem with the way he was playing, the marks he took, the goals he kicked. He deserves a bit of swagger.
And
Like,
he'll get free kicks because he'll get under the opposition's skin.
yeah, yeah, no, he did. He got a few good. One goal from Mac Andrew free kick that was just shit. Um, so look again, Caddy and Kako have played under 15, 20 games, or whatever. There was some really good stat. Where did I read that? How um,
Oh
hang on.
dear, good one.
I think I've got it here. Hang on. It was something about the Bombers. Um, 8 players with fewer than 25 games experience.
That's a lot, isn't it? It's a third of
Yeah,
the team.
that's a third of the team with less than 25 goals. And when you look at the goal scoring, like who kicked our goals, it's May, who's played 4 games or 3 games or whatever. Caddy, who's played 20, whatever he played. No, this is his second year, so 25.
Ish.
Or
He
he'd be
didn't come
one
in
of
until halfway through last year.
he'd be
So,
one of the under 25 games.
yeah.
And Peter Wright, who's still not an old fart or in any stretch, but so that was the exciting part for me. Hobbs, he was all right too. He was
I was
getting under
impressed
the
with him in
skin.
the first quarter. That was probably the most attention I was paying. He was everywhere at the.
Yeah, he was getting under people's skin. I was quite enjoying that. But yeah,
Um,
just the issues. I think like Laverde still did Laverde things, and what's his name, who we mentioned earlier, Perkins just needs to find some confidence. But the rest of the team is really confident. It was great to have Ridley back. He was doing Ridley things.
yeah, I want to ask you.
Mm,
This is all from Twitter.
okay.
Lots of love for Lual. One of the quarters,
Yes.
apparently, he was amazing. So much so that there was like 50 different people commenting on it. Oh, no, I didn't see it. So what happened?
Yep. Look, I don't know specific things. He played a great game. Like he took some great. He was an option often when the kick-ins. He was like they might have gone
Taking
short
them.
or coming around. He took some great pack marks. So look, I was a massive fan of his game. Again, he's played 4 games of football. The more we can get into him for the rest of the year is just great.
Sorry,
I,
I was
I,
listening.
yeah, no, that's fine. I just part of me really wants to see the other kids now that like the other mid-season draft. What's his name?
Man.
McMahon. Yeah. Just to see what they've got because I've been pretty impressed with the ones that have come through so far. So
Yeah.
I do worry too if we have a brief conversation about what happened in the bye week. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, sure. So yeah, we lost to the bye quite badly. Green might be done for the year. Langford, it seems, is done for the year. Parrish re-injured himself.
And
Not that
probably
I
will be
wish
a long
injuries
time.
upon anyone,
No,
but
but
Darcy Parish one does not faze me. I don't.
no,
We are
fair
better
enough, yeah.
without him in that midfield. I'll say it every way. I don't want him injured, sure,
Mm.
but how do you get 3 injuries like that in the fucking bye week, mate?
And
How?
they all seem like they're going to be like Parish one. I feel like it's a calf again, so they're going to look up.
That's a
That's going to be a
long
long,
one.
long term.
Yeah.
Like that could be another 4 to 6 weeks easily. The the Reed one, that'll be season as you said.
So did you see the context on that? That it
It's not the
was.
same. It
It's not the
was
severity; it's the
mm,
location
yeah,
that they're worried about,
yeah.
which doesn't help. But
No,
whatever. And I
still
still
feel
don't
so
think we
sad
get
for
Mackay
Hayes.
back this year.
No, he sounds like he's cooked too. They're just he's staying as TBC and
Yeah,
not doing
which is
anything.
never a
So
good sign.
yeah,
I mean, it could be worse. We could just say it's his finger forever, I suppose. Yeah, frustrating as hell. Just a bit more on the state of the game generally and our game. Did you see the caddy umpire collision?
yes, saw
And
that.
I loved Brad Scott's comments on this. It's the first time I've
What
seen
did he
Brad Scott
say?
really defend his players.
What did he say?
So he sort of through his time at the AFL and now he wants to get the umpires out of the corridor
Yeah.
You take the umpires out of the corridor where all the players are, and I imagine you'd probably walk into them less.
Yep.
And Blake like straight up said it wasn't Caddy's fault. And if
No,
you
it
look
wasn't.
at it, the umpires walk into his path. But
Yep.
I bet you the AFL will find him because Caddy should have taken.
No,
Caddy
it's
should
not.
be walking around him. That's what they'll say. I don't believe that because Caddy's watching the ball as he should be.
Caddy's watching the ball, running towards the ball. The umpire's not watching where he's going. He's cut into the centre and running. He's running to Caddy, who's running.
So it was really heavy defense of Caddy from
Yeah,
Scott,
no,
which I really like.
there's no way Caddy gets done for anything for that because it's not his fault.
You watch, he will though.
The fascinating thing I had
No, he
was
will.
watching Rao, who's on four.
Push our blokes into the umpire.
Like I don't agree with this stupid umpire touching the umpire, you're getting a suspension, possibly losing a Brownlow for touching an umpire. It's just bullshit. But Rao continued to start right behind the umpire, like right behind him, and I'm like, maybe you start a little to the left, buddy.
Maybe
Like
that's
you're
on
in a
you.
bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Like he's right, and the umpire's turning around going, I'm going back. You know, like, and Rao would be standing right behind him and going, like, just move to the left or something, buddy. Like, you can come in off on an angle. Like, I don't get it. He's like, you have to come in behind him, go around him. I don't know.
So that's the sort of stuff where you go, yeah, all right, that might be fair enough because you're not doing everything you can to not walk into the umpire.
Yeah.
You need to be aware. 'Cause
And sorry.
the umpires have to be there somewhere. Like
Yep.
you can't expect them just to fucking disappear into a hole in the ground.
No, that's right. That would be
Like-
cool.
It would be handy, yeah. But
On that too, Centerfield was a great matchup on Rao all day.
disappointing. I had Rail as my draft.
Well,
captain.
he did shut him down. And the other one, going back to Durham, I felt like, and maybe people who watch the game a bit closer might be able to give me more on this, but I felt like Durham was playing on Anderson for the game, and in that first half, really shut Anderson down. Like Anderson in the third quarter had a 13 touches, I think it was, 13 possessions, and really set them up, kicked a goal, like really got them going. And I felt like that was part of that Durham frustration of like, he's been so good, he's really, but then he sort of let him go. And I think Anderson, it was pretty effective in the last quarter too, sort of. And I was like,
only thing I'll say to that, I won't sing to that, is we look at it from the Essendon lens, of course, but Gold Coast could have also changed something.
yes, agree.
Like it's not,
and
it's
that's
not
what I'm
100%
saying.
going to be on does in that.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm not. I wasn't watching the game close enough to know exactly, but something changed at third quarter time where we'd kept Anderson relatively quiet. Like he'd had maybe 10, 12 possessions at halftime, which is pretty good for him. Like they'd been pretty quiet possessions,
Yeah.
And then something happened that third quarter where he was very noticeably everywhere, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's cutting us apart. Bit like what Merritt does to teams, go, Jesus Christ, someone get on him.
Yeah, good teams, good players do it. Rather.
Yeah.
Some votes. I do see that you've copied me exactly. So
It was pretty hard not to be honest. I
Shall
did
you-
try and put a defender in there, but I couldn't.
couldn't do it. Shall you read it out for the group?
Oh, okay, yep. It was 3 Merritt. I think he was, again, Merritt's a midfielder. If he's getting tagged, just fucking deal with it. 2 to Durham. Here's the ball. He goes through. He goes hard. He just needs to crack that on more. And Kako, superstar in the making. Really good small forward, possibly a high forward. Don't know if he'd make some sort of like what's his name from Melbourne's comparison?
Ozzy Pickett.
Cozzy Pickett.
I was thinking Papley, that high,
yeah,
getting up the
Papley.
ground, and I mean
Yeah.
they're sort of the same, one and the same. It's,
Yeah.
what you
Papley
said.
hasn't gone into the midfield. I wonder if Kako could.
Paps does a little bit.
Yeah, he does. You're right. Actually, he does. Yes.
Through. Now because I had family around and all that sort of stuff, I did forget the game day post. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
I've just moved house and
He's had a bit going on,
I've
kids.
had a
Still
big,
can't find a girl. Any girls out there watching the podcast? Sam is single, not signal. He'd always love to meet someone who follows the Essendon Football Club and then go to the footy together and talk and hold hands. He's hating this. Absolutely.
Anyway.
He might cut this out.
Nah, not that deep. Can't be bothered. Next week we play Richmond at the MCG Saturday night. For the second time this year, we beat them on Dreamtime.
Was that the game?
Comfortable? I can't remember.
No, it wasn't comfortable. We
Wasn't
got him.
Okay. They just come off getting pumped by Geelong. Can guarantee you Bolter won't be playing because it's a night game. They did rest Nank last time we played them, interestingly. So in the VFL,
Mm.
despite holding an almost 5 goal lead later on in the second quarter, about halfway, 3/4 of the way through the second quarter, we lost 100-86,
That's disappointing.
which was disappointing. Yes, we were well on top. Vigo had 15 touches and 49 hit outs. 4-9. Sardis, 34 touches, 18 kicks, 16 handballs. Guelphy, 10 touches and a couple of goals. Al Hooley, 21 touches. Daywicks, 12 and 2. That's the sort of impact I can deal with if you're going to be in the ones, mate.
Yeah.
Couple of goals and low possession, you're fine. McMahon, six touches, 2 goals. Probably scored the 2 goals late. I checked it about half time and he was on like 2 touches and hadn't hit the scoreboard. And Menzies kicked a goal. That's all I really remember seeing. So we'll assume Goldstein plays. Well, we won't have that conversation again, despite the fact we would love Vigo to come in.
Yep.
I still don't think there's room for Sardis. That
Yeah,
midfield
that's fair.
seemingly worked.
It did.
not.
It's a fascinating situation, though. It really is. It's just a waste. He's going to sit in that VFL or leave the club at the end of the year.
The one change I would make,
Mm.
Guelphy back in.
Yeah, but
Or
Perkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
If we can roll Gresham again as the sub, I'll be okay with that
I could even go El Hooley
for Gresham. Yeah, I'd club that.
or El Hooley for this. Yeah, for the sub and have as you said, Guelphy come in.
I think this is what
because El
really,
Hooley brings pace. Like he brings electric pace.
yeah, this is what really rots my socks about the whole Vigo thing.
Mm.
Is that he played an okay game and gets dropped because there's a 37-year-old, yet we persist with Gresham and
Yeah.
persist with Perkins. Why?
Well, Perkins I get because he's young, but Gresham's 26.
But he's fucking shocking this year. Like
Perkins.
the young thing is
yeah,
okay as long as you're not bad the whole season.
Yes.
Name one good game Perkins has played this year. I
first
can
game.
give you about 5 minutes. No, that was last year, mate.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah. Look, I think he has played one good game. I can't remember who it was,
Yeah,
but I do
know,
remember
like,
thinking that he kicked 3 goals in one game, and I thought we need more of that from him.
Yeah, and he hasn't done it.
No,
So
he just needs to go back to VFL. Like what I don't get is that everyone else gets kicked back to the VFL pretty quickly. Well, not pretty
that's what
quickly.
I mean. Vigo, see you later, mate. You played a good game, but too bad.
The Vigo thing's going to shit me because it's like Brad Scott's got a deal with Goldie. Yeah, I'll get you to your 17 games so you get your bonus for the year, mate. Don't worry about it. Like I'm like, well, why now? Play Vigo even against Nank. Like, just there's an experience for you.
Well, I mean, he did play against an agile mobile ruckman and got fucking pants. So
Yeah, it's not about winning games of football. Surely we all agree with that. At the moment, it's just about continuing, and we're seeing that with Clark, as I keep mentioning. Clark and Johnson were good football players because they've played now 4 or 5 games. They're starting to go, I'm getting a feel of this. I'm getting an idea what I can do. Johnson's first game was shit, and his next 3 were really good.
solid.
He's like, yeah, I understand what I'm doing now. I'm getting a bit better.
Really good's a stretch, but yeah, they were solid.
Yeah, well, yeah. For guys playing his 3rd and 4th game, they were good games.
Yeah. So we've just discussed the changes. Any others that I'm missing? Oh, Caldwell, how bad was that? That might be the way.
Oh,
for
he
Sardis.
might be. Yeah, he was pretty limpy.
Okay. So that's the Sardis swap then. If that's
Well,
the
that would
case.
be the Sardis swap.
And good opportunity for Sardis to play inside mid too. Actually, that would be
Exactly. That's the
silver
swap.
lining.
That's the only way Sardis seems to be getting into the team.
Yeah.
If Caldwell was out and Sardis didn't come in, then
I'd be
he's
talking to
gone.
Richmond now.
You can might as well just sign him with another club now.
Yeah, for sure.
If that's what they were to do, then I'll be just like, Jesus Christ.
Even if he is out the door, let's bring him in and add a bit of value to the deal that we're going to
I
get.
don't know. I think you're not going to get much value out of him. We're going to lose a lot of money on him.
If he plays 5 games at the end of the year and has 40 a game, I mean, he's going to be worth a little bit more than what he was.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
May I have a tip, please?
Next week, Richmond, I think we'll beat them, but only by 3 goals. I would have thought. 18 points.
Okay.
I think I think we're a slightly better team than them. Not anything great, but
Nice to see you branching out from your Essendon by 10 or whatever it was. Essendon by 12. Sorry, 12.
Oh, come on, buddy.
You throw me off with all the dating talk. I'm all frazzled.
Flustered.
Yeah, all flustered. I'll go Essendon by... Look, if we can rock up and play 3 quarters, we like yesterday, and play it for 4 quarters, we'll beat them pretty Not
No,
comfortably. I refuse to
no.
use that word when you're talking
No,
about
I
Essendon.
don't. I think they're still an okay side, to be honest, Richmond. It's just that when some team like Geelong flogged us, remember?
Oh, I do remember.
Yeah.
I'll buy more at the G. So yeah, interesting. I'll say Essendon by 32. Jimmy Watson number.
Yeah, good number.
Any other thoughts? Anything else to add before we get on with our Sunday?
No, I mean, look, as I said, I enjoyed how we played, and I hope we can continue to play more like that.
Nice, succinct.
Mm.
I like it. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Go Dons.
Go Bombers.